Well, 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 my friends, take a look at that headline. Russia holds de-dollarization meeting, China, Iran willing to drop the dollar from bilateral trade. Huh, that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, but it is. That Russia has been pushing for trade agreements that minimize the participation and influence of the US dollar ever since the onset of the Ukraine crisis and before is no secret. This has been covered extensively on these pages before. Remember all this stuff where people, like me and other channels out there have been called conspiracy theorists when we're saying, hey, there's a whole big movement trying to drop and dump the dollar, which, by the way, is all part of an orchestrated plan. Until now, much of this was in the realm of hearsay and general wishful thinking. After all, surely it is ridiculous that a country can seriously contemplate to exist outside the ideological and religious confines of the petrodollar because if one can do it, all can do it. And next thing you know, the U.S. has hyperinflation, social collapse, civil war, and all those features prominently featured in other socialist banana republics like Venezuela, which alas do not have a global currency to kick around. Now all the NDAA and all the militarization of the police force, the drills. Now it's kind of starting to make sense why they were doing all that stuff in the United States now, purchasing all the ammunition. Now I think we're starting to figure out why they were doing that. Voice of Russia reports, citing Russian press sources, that the country's Ministry of Finance is ready to greenlight a plan to radically increase the role of the Russian ruble in export operations while reducing the share of dollar-denominated transactions. Government sources believe that the Russian banking sector is ready to handle the increased number of ruble-denominated actions. Let's see. On April 24th, the government organized a special meeting dedicated to finding a solution for getting rid of the U.S. dollar in Russian export operations. Top-level experts from the energy sector, banks, and government agencies were summoned, and a number of measures were proposed as a response for American sanctions against Russia. And the fun thing is I don't think it's in this article. There's another one. It talks about how Putin, I guess, is going to or already has an executive order planned where he's going to do something like Obama, just stroke of a pen. He's going to make this whole executive order where, hey, yeah, we'll just start using the ruble in more cases now and just worry less about the dollar messing with the West. Ain't that funny how they do things? Anything else I need to really get to? Let's see. The success of Moscow's campaign to switch its trading to rubles or other regional currencies will depend on the willingness of its trading partners to get rid of the dollar. Sources cited by PoliticalOnline.ru mention two countries who would be willing to support Russia, Iran, and China. Given that Vladimir Putin will visit Beijing on May 20th, it can be speculated that the gas and oil contracts that are going to be signed between Russia and China will be denominated in rubles and yuan, not dollars. And that's right here, as they say. In other words, in 1 week's time, look for not only the announcement of the Russia-China Holy Grail gas agreement previously discussed here, but its financial terms, which now appears virtually certain will be settled exclusively in the ruble and the yuan, not the U.S. dollar. And as we have explained repeatedly in the past, the further the West antagonizes Russia and the more economic sanctions it lobs at it, the more Russia will be forced away from a USD-denominated trading system and into one which faces China and India, which is why next week's announcement, as groundbreaking as it most certainly will be, is just the beginning. And don't forget, July 1st, we got that FATCA that takes effect, the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act. Now, Wall Street Journal is reporting that there's going to be a 2-year extension to banks that practice good faith in complying with the law, but in case you haven't heard what this thing is, it's a global law. Right? Passed back in 2010, the FATCA makes it mandatory for banks around the world to share information about their depositors with the U.S. government. So in other words, Congress expects for banks that aren't even in the United States to comply with U.S. laws, even if U.S. laws happen to violate the bank's own local law. So the United States government, they wrote a global law. Let's listen to this. The U.S. government seems to be going out of its way to destroy the advantages of the system. In fact, if you were to advise the U.S. government what to do if they wanted to destroy the banking system, the list would pretty much include everything that they're doing already. Having inadequately capitalized banks, destroying the federal government balance sheet, destroying the central bank balance sheet, using credit rating agencies for political games, bailing out the banks at everyone else's expense, my personal favorite, and passing absurd regulations and demand compliance through fear and intimidation. So, things are going to change. Been saying that for a long time. A lot of people have been seeing it a hell of a lot longer than I have. The writing's on the wall, but for whatever reason, people don't want to look at it. They want to just turn away. And guess what? If this is called fear mongering for exposing this plan, then call me a fear monger, okay? Because I'm going to call anyone out there who starts complaining about paying $6-7 for gasoline and milk fear mongers. That's what I'm going to start doing, because I work at a grocery store and we have 2 brands of milk. One, the store brand, which is the cheap brand, $4. And the name brand, Prairie Farms, live in Illinois, Midwest, it's $4.32. People are already complaining. I'm about to start looking them in the face and say, you know what, shut up, you fearmonger. I don't know what you're complaining about. It's not $4. Just because the price tag says that doesn't mean you have to pay it. You can pay whatever you want. You can just do whatever you want in this world. You just look around, and if you don't like the way things are, then you just turn away and say, that's not happening. It's that simple. That's what we do, right? That's how we got here. So, looks like this ball's finally rolling. Shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Thanks for watching, teammates and subs. Sorry, I'm a little riled up about this because it just gets frustrating. I just wish I could get all those comments back. I argue with these people about this stuff, and I just wish these trolls would come back and say something now. But we know it doesn't work that way, and not that it doesn't matter. The work, it speaks for itself, just like anybody else's, so it doesn't matter. But you just get frustrated because you're human. Nothing you can do. I'm not perfect, that's for sure. So thanks, teammates and subs. Appreciate all the support out there. Links will be below. Bye.